Hello, everybody, or some of you, or whatever. Welcome to this darn. There we go. That's better. Little more romantic. This darn fine program. Can everyone hear me and see me, and so on and so forth? I'm RJ City. It is dark. I have my robe. I have my cigar, and I have my wine regular leg. And here's to you, and here's to your health. Again, or some such facsimile, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to talk, you know. And sometimes we may talk about things we like, and sometimes we may talk about things we don't like. We may have a little Bactrachomyomachi. You know what I'm talking about? It's Greek. Look it up. Sean Flagstaff says, here early to say hi because I'm afraid I'm going to fall asleep. I'm tired too. Let's just call it. Let's all go to bed. Hi everybody, even to you, Sean, and thank you for making the effort. If you have to fall asleep, I'm not gonna hold it against you. I'm not gonna get upset. People have long days, as do I, and I'm fucking sticking it out. I swore too early. I don't think I'm gonna be monetized now. Bill said, "Good evening, RJ in the lounge. Hope everyone is in great spirits and haunting all your humble abodes accordingly. I'm feeling inside very hollow." Add that to your collection. Blue Meanie is here. Also, if you haven't listened you just listen to it. It's a fucking podcast. I did the Mind of Meanie podcast. It came out on Monday. It's on the Mind of Meanie channel, YouTube channel, or wherever podcasts or do you do that thing. And we talked for a long time about pretty much nothing, which seems to be my MO. Do enjoy. I had a lovely time. Subscribe to his channel. He's rounding the curve on his subscribers. Join the Patreon. We're all pulling for his meaniness. Another item of business to my Key to the City members. Today, I put out the call for questions for October's Ask RJ. It's in the community tab. Scroll down. You'll see Ask RJ. Type your question in there. You have until the end of the week. So chop, chop. I'm in haste. SM said, good evening to all, except the organ in my body forcing me to have surgery next week. There's so many organs. Immediately, you want to say a schwanz, you know? A rogue schwanz. Something is askew and it needs work. But the liver is an organ. The kidney, the bladder, the intestines, although I feel like he would have denoted the intestines. What else is there? What's the duodenum? Is that an organ? I mean, your heart, but I feel like you would say heart. It's not ligaments. It's not muscle. Anyway, I'm gonna say it's a kidney or liver. It's just between you, me, and the lamppost. Bill is welcoming the meanies. SM said, what did we think of the musical stylings of Jericho and MJF? I loved it. I am just not crazy about mixing musicals and wrestling. It's a little gauche. That's just me. That's traditionalist me. Aaron said, happy Wednesday. Friends. Bill said, hey, Meanie, loving your Patreon features. Everyone join Meanie's podcast. You and RJ were hilarious. We were a hoot. Missy said, good evening, everyone. There's a Limericks like emoji. And I should be drinking up. I should be staying hydrated. Sabrina's here. Hello, everyone. I'm not staying. Just a quick drop in. So tired. Anyways, have a lovely night. I am tired, too. It's been shitty and dark out all day. And this time of year makes me feel tired because I believe the clocks go back soon. So we're going to get an hour. This is the point where, before they did the clocks back thing, everyone was looking around going, gee, I feel tired. Let's just get an extra hour and then we'll call it. We'll say 10 o'clock is 9 o'clock and then whatever. How does that sound? We'll give everyone an extra hour and then we'll keep everything. We'll just move the schedule back so we can get an extra hour of sleep. That makes sense to me. We do that only, I think, for the farmers or something. Shit. Missy said goodnight to Sabrina already. Blue Meanie wants more cleavage. I'll tell you the problem is the camera is... The problem with... See, now I got the laptop in the way. Oh my. Oh. Whew, my goodness. Now, let me see if I can turn it. The problem is when I adjust the camera, it's hard for it to go back to normal. So I hate doing it. Ty 5 is here. She says, good evening, everyone. Hello there, RJ. Well, no, hello here. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm here. You're there. Dave said, so AEW doing a musical segment seems like a heavy shot at you. Seems like they're following in my footsteps. I think I had that the market cornered. They can. There's more songs. There's enough songs to go around for everyone. SM said, guys, don't forget to press the like button. Yeah, fucking like the video. It'd be like, there's 41 people watching. There's 14 people like the video. It's like 10%. No, somebody do the math. That's not 10% at all. That's like 25%. 20. Look, now it bumped up. Now we got to 50%. See, just a little, and you just click it, and it's right in front of your face. It's a thumbs up. A little respect. Ty said he's calling it. Okay, good night, everyone. Nail said, watching the ads for RJ, I'll be right here. Michael said, hey, Bay, how was your day? Bay, if you could answer Michael and let him know how your day was. Andrea said, hello and good evening. And if you like good wrestling writing, go follow Andrea's stuff, Sportskedia or some shit. I don't know. There's too many website names. It's weird. Tabby said, hi, all. I've been sick for the past week, but no worries. I'm socially distancing from you all. You know, I read this study. And I can't remember what country it is, but they have their flu season right now. And because they're already distancing and wearing the masks and whatever, they've basically skipped over the flu season because nothing's been going on. And I'm like, maybe this is something we should have been doing all along. Neil said, okay, I'm here. Did we ask about Danhausen yet? What's the answer? RJ Ramos says, hello, Gloria. And that's spelled Gloria. Gloria. Bill said, hey, cult member Nils. Hello, Bill. I was just wondering where the hell is my good friend Bill, said Nils. He's here. Tom said, congrats on being on Botchamania, but not because I messed up. That makes me very happy. That was the second thing I've done for him. But because I did this other video for him at the beginning of the pandemic where he's like, just wash your hands and sing a song. I was like, sounds good. He's like, I want to put it in. I did it. Months went by. I never heard a word. I was a little upset and I called him out on it. And then he posted it for everyone to see, but not in the Botchamania. So I was pretty pissed off. And then he's like, hey, are you familiar with reading wrestling books? I'm like, fucker, I did like 20 books on my YouTube channel. And then with that, the passage he picked, I think is a passage from Brett's book that I had already read in the YouTube video. Because I distinctly remember doing an Aaron Neville impression before this. Dave said, my favorite organ has got to be the pituitary gland. I like the pituitary. It's glandular. It's a glandular. I don't know any other glands. The only it's the who's really out in front. I'm trying to think of someone that's out in front. You know, that's like the Beyonce. And the other gland system is like the remember that fourth Destiny's Child that they had that was in and was never. Bill with the info. The clocks go back on November 1st. That's delightful. Yolanda said, what? No musicals and wrestling? I am shook. Yolanda's here, and you know what that means. She's like my speedy delivery. And instead of bringing a package, she reminds me to read a limerick. Oh, I can't say that one. Okay. A damsel who lives at the springs had her maidenhead ripped into strings by a hideous curd, and now she averred, when the wind blows through it, it sings. Let's do another one. A fine man hailing from Wuji once laid an American floozy. How different he cried as he slid it inside to diddle a horizontal koozie. I don't quite understand what that means, but it's cool to call it a koozie. Let's enjoy that. There'll be better ones. That was the one that sang was okay. Anything with a nationality was uncomfortable. Jordan Patrick said, agreed on the musical thing. Buzz your girlfriend. What? Steven said, don't sell the goods so cheap, sir. Q said, hey, RJ, are you a fan of Joe Exotic? Absolutely not. In every regard. I don't want to give him a second of my time or a dime of my money. one of those bad things about celebrity culture where it's like, oh, he's fun because he's crazy. I'm like, nah, he's crazy because he's crazy, and he should just back off. Not one person in that whole thing is remotely decent to animals. So not my bag. I don't think they're cool. Danny said, I don't want to like it. You're a heel. Dave said, wrestling and math are not meant to go together. That's for sure. Danny said, then again, you did sing for me. I guess I can like it. Yolanda said, I don't care no more about the clocks going backwards because I can't get an extra hour partying in the club. What a waste. Yolanda's going to have to crack a glow stick in her own home. Aaron said, somehow the pop of cleavage on a Wednesday seems saucy, yet the nothing but underwear and socks on a Sunday is just par for the course. Let's take a minute to appreciate the fact that I can come off wholesome in only my underwear. Blue Meanie said the best way to socially distance from someone is to lend them money. That was like from A Bronx Tale. He had to pay somebody back $20. And he's like, don't worry about it. You got that person off your back for $25. Bill said, if you drink enough Limericks Lakes, you will not need a flu shot. It's great for your complexion. That I know. Vinicius said, greetings from Brazil. Well, greetings to you. Patrick Broom said, hello, RJ. What's coming up on the Hollywood Squared Circle? I'm so glad you asked. Well, my early access members saw today that everyone will see tomorrow another Halloween-themed video game. I won't give that away right now. And tomorrow, they will be getting early access to the Hollywood Squared Circle. Friday, everyone else will get to see it. I do part 2. The Beverly Hillbillies had a second wrestling episode. They strung it together. They made a big deal out of it. And only in the Beverly Hillbillies does wrestling have consequences. Val said, anybody else also watch The Masked Wrestler? I was just watching Alley Cat's live stream of her about to watch it. And then I was like, oh, I have this thing to do too. Everyone liked the Limericks. Dalton Castle is here. The wonderful party peacock man himself, having fun traveling the planet of peacocks. Captain, commander, mayor of the peacock man. He said quiche or frittata. I really don't like either because they are very yolk involved. I'm not a real yolk guy. I don't think a white quiche would go so well. I would not mind a white frittata. I think I could pull that off, and that would be delightful. Thank you for joining me, and hope you're flying high with the peacock, the men cock. Time to party with your wings. Dave said, I have a question. After watching some Adam Sandler videos, is there a better Brutus Beefcake Hulk Hogan duo outside of wrestling like Rob Schneider, Adam Sandler? One huge star, much lesser star. Yes. Adam Sandler and Kevin James. Far less talented than Rob Schneider. Missy said, Dalton, good evening. Stacy Lynn joined the condo of charisma. Well, my apologies in advance. Wonderful mint. It's cheers to you. And everyone will start welcoming you. Danny did. Bill said, so since Halloween is a little over a week away, was there any horror-themed TV shows? You know who used to have the best? Roseanne and Home Improvement had very good Halloween episodes. Frasier had shitty ones. They weren't really in the mood to get scary. I would always like American Horror Story until like the last 2 episodes when you realize they had no intention of wrapping up these storylines in a satisfying way. They're like, shit happens, and shit happens. But number one for me, and it's the number one TV show, period, for me, is The Twilight Zone. It's not necessarily horror-themed, Halloween-themed, but it's creepy. It's in that sci-fi milieu. Neil said Oprah and Gail. That's also an askew duo. Jordan said Danhausen's had lots of swears today. I don't know why you would do that. You really lose your audience. Carrie Silken is here from Last Stop at Penn Station, a wonderful podcast about old New York, a land that doesn't exist before, a land before time. I took a break from the World Series to say hello to you and let your fans know this week's Last Stop features my night of cocaine with Tony Atlas in 1987. He's gone from John Belushi to Tony Atlas. That is range that only, I'll say it, a fellow raconteur like Carrie Silken can provide on his darn fine podcast, which always seems to have a calming drug theme. Neil said, welcome, Stacy, and fuck Mark Ruffalo. I second that motion. SM said, wrestling and math are not meant to go together. I love that classic math promo Scott Steiner did. Yeah, it all adds up. Clincy said, hello there, RJ, and hey, gotta ask you early, did you post something on your community tab, then you remove it right away? I don't think so. Maybe I posted something else. If you scroll, you should be able to see everything. Carrie Silken says, hi, Meanie and Dalton. What a nice little cocktail party we're having. Dave said, do you think if we all had as much money as Bruce Wayne, we could all be Batman? No, Bruce Wayne has a complex where, like, you have that much money and power and resources, and you still got to fight crime. It's some pompous ass bullshit. Really. Sit the fuck down. Let the authorities do their job. Or someone who really wants it, like Robin. You can't just dip in and out when you want. And then, I'm going to go sit in my leather chair and be depressed. Ace Shock said, favorite Mel Brooks movie? Maybe Young Frankenstein. I'm so partial to History of the World. I don't know what. Maybe this is my favorite Dom DeLuise turn in a Mel Brooks movie. That's probably. And Madeline Kahn. That's probably why. Andrea said, I loved The Masked Wrestler, but those are some Retribution ass names. I like a good ass name. You know, like Cheeks. Blue Meanie said, hey, okay, we're all saying hi to everybody. Chai said, I'm not a real yoke guy. Who is a yoke guy? Rocky Balboa. See? Now you're like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, fair enough. Chris said, milk, yes, please. Cheese. I don't know what the fuck with this dairy conversation. SM said, yoke involved, yoke forward, or yoke entangled. A yoke askew. Southern Dandy is a yoke guy. Dave Muscarella said, damn it. I just realized I set you up for an RJ David Arquette reference, and you resisted. I do what I can do. Like, I don't have enough of those in my day. Bill said, love American Horror Story. Oh, I'm so down in the chat. Love American Horror Story. Season of the Witch was the best. Twilight Zone, of course, but any favorite episodes of The Night Gallery? Not really. There's a Vincent Price one that was good, but nothing that I'm like, wow. Like, it was okay. It was not great. Brandon Jody said, the new exhibit about the Murderer's Row at the Wax Museum was my favorite Twilight Zone episode. What is yours? I love that one. The guy's name was Martin Sinescu. Don't ask me why I know that was the main character's name. I have two favorites. A familial favorite, the one my family watches every New Year's when it's on the Sci-Fi Marathon, is A Stop at Willoughby. And I actually went to Willoughby, Ohio. It was allegedly the Willoughby. My other favorite that slowly became my personal favorite is The Howling Man, about the guy who tries to catch the devil. That one is just weird. I enjoy it a lot. Ty said, how about a limerick for new cult member Stacy Lynn? Well, Stacy, this limerick is for you. There once was a young man named Lanny, the size of whose prick was uncanny. His wife, the poor dear, took it into her ear, and it came out the hole in her fanny. It's a nice little magic trick. It's talking about Lanny Poffo, which is a little piece of wrestling history there. Southern said Bruce Wayne is a spoiled dildo, and all dildos have that air of pompousness about them. Tabby said Bruce Wayne saw his parents murdered in front of him, and nobody thought to get him in therapy. Not one person. They were like, he'll handle it himself. He's got all these old musty books. Carla said, now that AEW moved into duets and musical numbers, thoughts on working for the company to show them how it's done? I do it all the time. If anyone wants to pony up a cob, I'll think about it. Those are my rules. But as of right now, I'm signed to the AWA, and I'm very happy with Mr. Gagne. Patrick said, what's your opinion on Eggs Benedict? Yeah. Hollandaise is like, there's a whole thing. You know? It's like, whoa. It's very Orson Welles. Do you know what I'm saying? Blue Meanie said in Rocky Balboa voice, "Yoke Adrian." I can't. Oh, I can't do it. Ace said, "Would you watch Archer?" Do you mean Beverly Archer from Mama's Family? If so, would you eat eggs Woodhouse? I would like some. Dave said, "What's with all these old game shows getting redone lately?" Well, it's cheap summer programming, and I think it's easy to shoot in the current environment. Does anyone honestly believe any of the reboots will be remotely close as good as the original? I love Card Sharks. That was like my favorite. Always. This mailman was on it once, and he had an incredible run. I think his name was Maurice. Southern said, "Damn, your chest is Billy D. Williams smooth." Oh, we're just talking about Rocky today. Stephen Millar said, "Hello, RJ and company." So RJ and company, it's my touring group. Hope you have all had a great day and a great night. Thank you. Stephen, Chris is sanitizing for the limericks. Nails, enjoy that limerick. Ty said, "Oh, Lord, no thanks. I have bad ears already." It's a good way to get the wax out. Jordan Patrick said, "Howling Man," and a new favorite, "Perchance to Dream" is amazing. It's also a good one, too. A said, "Would you want to wrestle Lanny Poffo?" I think so. Last time I saw him wrestle, he still hit the moonsault. And that was like 6 years ago. It was really not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. They're like, not bad, Lanny. I don't know what he would do in a match. He also wore no knee pads, which just disturbed me. Mrs. Meany said, "I like the Twilight Zone where Mr. Beavis slides down the banister and knocks his beanbag into 1926. A good time-traveling ball story." Oh, look. You can't see. My lime has gone green. Stacy Lynn said, "Thank you. That was weird but good." That's pretty much what this entire experience is like. Bill said, "Thoughts on what seems to be the most famous episode, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet?" I think it's primarily most famous because it has that easy horror kind of element, and also because of William Shatner, who naturally got far more famous after that. There's one redone with John Lithgow, I think, that's in the Twilight Zone movie. And there's a parody of it, I think, on Saturday Night Live. I feel like there was another version, too, in the newest Twilight Zone, the Jordan Peele one. I think it's a good one. It's very simple. I loved the creature, and I feel bad. I think he got very wet and soggy. I feel so bad for him. Nail said, "You've got to love the classic. There's something on the wing." Well, that's the Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. And the one with the broken glasses. I hate the one with the broken glasses. Time Enough at Last with Burgess Meredith. And he's like, everyone's dead and I can read all these books. And then he just breaks his glasses. And that's like the only fucking pair of glasses that exists. It's a little ridiculous. Jordan Patrick said, "Eggs Benedict is very Orson Welles. I'm dying." Ty said, "Orson Welles," which is from the wonderful wine commercial outtakes. Nails wants eggs. Late night breakfast. Late night breakfast is amazing. Dave said, "It's probably a fantastic dish that I'll eat beef Wellington." I mean, like 2 wrestlers were named. There was a beef Wellington. There was a Biff Wellington. Both liked it Wellington. Bill said, "So there are any impressions that you haven't debuted yet? Card Sharks, higher or lower? Is it higher than a 5? An 8? Andrew said, "Poetry slam versus Lanny Poffo." He's too graceful to slam. It'll be a poetry stroll or a poetry trot. You ever see that commercial he did with Tony Little for the Gazelle? Great job. "I'm in tremendous shape." Danny said, "Gosh, someone sanitized the chat before I've done. I've been slacking off." Well, you haven't been slacking if you're not sanitizing. Stacey said, "Max Game and name that tune." Nell said, "Bill, has he done a William Shatner for us before?" Maybe. Dave said, Dave joined the condo of charisma. We finally broke this man, and I don't know why. Enjoy early access to every weird thing. And thank you for your support. Although it comes, I feel like, discretionary. Like, I'm going to support you, but I could take it away at any time. It could suddenly not be good. Thank you for keeping me on my toes, Dave. It's so sweet of you. How about a limerick for Dave? A nice initiation limerick. Oh, hold on. A page curled here. Give me a minute. Dave's exited the kind of charisma already. There once was an artist named Fair who was really a cubist for fair. He looked all his life to find him a wife possessed of a vag that was square. It's kind of sweet. It's about art, really. You know? It's kind of nice. Blue Meanie said, I did a cheesy horror flick with Lanny Poffo called Curse of the Wolf. Dear Lord, I want to see the trailer for this. Is he the cursed one? Sofla Bamore said, do you like the show Outer Limits? Nah. It was a great Twilight Zone-ish show. I'm also glad to catch the live stream. Love the content. Thank you. Sofly. But that's kind of like the RC Cola of, like, there's some shows that I'll watch if they're on, but I won't be like, let's go find this, you know? Because I'm just like, yeah, okay. It's not horrible, not the best. And there's also been so many Twilight Zone episodes, you know? I know there's so many that I haven't seen before or that I forget. There's really that many. I'm like, I don't know how you have time for Outer Limits or any of that shit. Dave said, I probably should have joined. What Dave has remorse. Dave has joiner's remorse. Not from joining, but from not joining. Nail said, Dave, you've canceled Steve Martin at last. Missy said, thoughts on the obsolete man. You got to tell me what happens in that one, Missy. I totally don't remember. Carla said, Third Rock from the Sun actually had Shatner and Lithgow do a quick aside to their air travel issues. That's adorable. And Third Rock from the Sun is something I should really go back and watch. And I didn't realize the people who created Third Rock from the Sun went on to create that 70s show. Bonnie and Terry Turner. They were SNL writers for the longest. Husband and wife duo. Ms. Meany said, they did the glasses gimmick on the Drew Carey show. He had a basement full of Playboys and sat on his glasses. What a weird fucking show Drew Carey was. It would get surreal all the time. It started off very blue collar, Roseanne-ish, like they had the same interior kind of thing. And then out of nowhere, it just got insane. SM said, I can't hear the name Lanny Poffo without thinking about that rumor of him being very flexible. I don't think it's a rumor. Blumini said, I prefer eggs Benedict Cumberbatch. I prefer eggs Paul Benedict. Ty said, any debaucherous questions for RJ, Stacey Lynn? Oh, yeah, you can ask whatever you want, Stacey. You're new, so you get to ask him the hard-hitting questions. Val said, I love Benedict Cumberbatch. Top 3 celebrity crush. Really? Top 3? Kev S is here and said, hey, everyone. Danny said, welcome to the dark side. Everyone's welcoming Dave. Bill said, love the episode The Invaders, as it had no lines in it whatsoever, and they told such a creepy story. Remember that, too. Neil said, we can't take it away. It's a cult. We just take it away for our undying love and support. Dave said, your thank yous remind me of those Bartling James commercials for wine coolers. There is a California wine with that. There is a California champagne with that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle. And like all good wines, it's vintage dated. Stacey Lynn said, the wandering phalange has followed me to Mr. City's stream. I don't know what that means. Patrick said, Hocus Pocus and Frisbee and the monsters are due on Maple Street are my favorite Twilight Zone episodes. I Am the Night, Color Me Black. Oh, I loved Night Call. That was a very good one. I first read that as a script. It was nice. Blumini said, you should have a lower tier called the Basement of Bemusement. I like it. The Lanai of laissez-faire. Nail said, bravo, Meanie. Stacey said, don't you hate a curl page? Unless it's from feeling good. A said, have you read the Goosebumps books and watched the show? The scariest part of the show for me was when R.L. Stein used to do the intro and the outro. What a creepy guy he is. Bill said, Nails, we need him to do a William Shatner or at least or a Scotty from Star Trek for Jessamine. Scott, well, not now. Yolanda said a square vag means they're cursed. That's why they call it a box, Yolanda. Tabby said, we need more Jane Curtin on TV. I think she's probably on like some show on some streaming service that nobody watches it, but it's probably amazing. Stephen Miller said, have you ever watched Manos, The Hands of Fate? It's truly a wonderful experience. Not for a long time. Ace brought up Drew versus Mimi Bobek. It's all coming back to me. Chris said, make this room an RJ Peep show with tips. It's basically what it is. Dave said, do you think the original version of Whose Line Is It Anyway with Clive Anderson is the better show versus the Drew Carey one? Oh my God, absolutely. They had a guy named Tony Slattery, and they used to have Josie Lawrence, who I thought was very funny, and I follow her on Twitter. And there's another guy, a heavyset fella. I can't remember his name, but he played Kramer's friend who cursed him when he blew out the candles. Do you remember that? They were having maybe that was the Millennium Newmenium, that party episode. Can't remember their friend's name, but he and then he gave him the stink eye. Can't remember his name, but I thought that show was very funny and a lot raunchier. Not that I don't like the Drew Carey one, but I also think Clive was perhaps a better straight man. Do you remember when Drew Carey did like Improv All-Stars pay-per-view? And I was like, the fuck is that? Andrew said Clive Anderson all the way. See, we've got the Anderson traditionalist coming out. Stacey Lynn said opinion on Buck Rogers in 21st Century. I like it, but my favorite of that milieu is Lost in Space. Macy said Burgess Meredith plays a librarian who is judged obsolete by society. He ends up in a confrontation with the chancellor of the new society. Great ending. Missy, is that the one where the chancellor is sitting at this high bench, basically, and he's like all the way up there, and it's just Burgess like this? What do you want me to do? I reject your society. I remember seeing that. It's so funny that he played a librarian in 2 episodes. But he was in more, too. Nail said, are you as flexible as Lanny Poffo? Yes, just not as long. Nail said, we will get him on Sunday, Bill. He can't resist performing for $5. It's a reasonable price. So Fly said, viewer beware, you're in for a scare. I love Goosebumps, both the show and the book. There was one shot in the intro of like worms and bugs and shit, and I was like, out. At least, to me, Are You Afraid of the Dark was a little scarier. Goosebumps a little more gross out to me. It was not necessarily my bag. Patrick said, what do you find creepier, clowns or puppets? Probably clowns. Puppets are always kind of fun to me. And I'm just like, so what if a puppet comes alive? You're like, what? I don't understand but like, yeah. That's what I would say. You know what? No, maybe they do frighten me equally. They frighten me equally when David Arquette is involved with them. Kev said, just a reminder, pay your tax, friends. 55 people are watching. Only 37 are liking the video. I got your message loud and clear. Yolanda said, that's why they call it a box. You win, RJ. Thank you. Tabby said, beep, buck you, Rogers. Neil said, Mike McShane. That's the guy's name. Thank you. FDR was the guy in Seinfeld. Thank you, SM. That all makes sense now. Bill said, so you're playing a lot of episodes of all sorts of games. Favorite and least favorite so far. Any games you want to start playing? Well, I love playing Serious Sam. That's by far my favorite. I love playing Streets, but I love playing Serious Sam. The new one is great, but all the Serious Sam games are great. That's like my kind of game. The one I like the least was probably Among Us. It's like a stupid party game, and there's like too much giggling and shit going on, and there's no consequences. Like once a game ends, it's like, and that's it. And like, I wish you could win, like best of 7 or some shit. Like, I wish it would go somewhere. I just feel like it's easily accessible, and that's why everybody likes it. Whatever. Yes, Carla said Mike McShane. This is the Mike McShane tribute episode. Raquel said, good evening, Archers. Always looking dashing. What's your favorite Broadway musical? Probably Phantom, because I've seen it 7 times. I like Cats, but not as a musical. It's probably between Phantom of the Opera and Little Shop of Horrors. And can I sing it? Yes, on Sunday. Chris just said bulky for some reason. Nicholas is here. Ace said, have you seen the Aisha Taylor who's like, yeah, and it's okay. She's not bad. I'm just like, I'm a Clive guy. SM said FDR was in the episode where they go to a wedding in India. It was a weird episode because it started from the end instead of the beginning. There are those, and congrats on them for playing with the form. And it is hard, like they work it backwards, and it is clever writing, but it's not necessarily, one of the best episodes. It's also always hard to take those characters are so New York. It's so hard to take them out of it. The same way it was difficult to put Kramer in Hollywood, which was another kind of bad move. Danny said the Choose Your Adventure Goosebumps. I see the reason I was not good. I had no control. I had no patience or control. I was just like, let's go to the ending and see. I'll look at all the different endings and then I'll go back and choose, which fucking defeats the purpose. I denied myself the enjoyment of the game. Val said clown puppets, which I've seen, and they're gross. Dave said, what was a weirder casting, Burgess Meredith in the G.I. Joe animated movie or Orson Welles in the animated Transform? No, I think Orson Welles had the right voice for a majestic robot man car alien thing. And I think he was happy to be seen as somewhat, powerful and mobile. SM said FDR's name was Franklin Delano Romanowski. Thank you. Which is so funny. Ty said David needs to have an RJ puppet made. He had a Ric Flair one made and gave it to him on his birthday at Raw or some shit. And Rick's like, oh, gee, thanks. Like, what the fuck is he going to do with the puppet? He's going to start doing a show? The Woo Hour with the puppet of Ric Flair is ridiculous. Art said Ronald J. City. Don't fool yourself. RJ stands for Raul Julia. Nail said, so what if a puppet comes to life for real? There's a person under clown paint. You can punch them. A puppet comes along and freak it. Yeah, but I could do the Tully Savalas and throw it and then slip on it and go down the stairs and die. Another good episode. Hulk Hogan emojis galore from Positively E. Jordan said, get your cigar and give us a limerick as Rod Serling in the Twilight Zone. Where are, hold on. Oh, I see what happened. There we go. I feel like we did these ones already. Oral irregularity. Okay. There once was a man from Arden who sucked off a man in a garden. He said, my dear Flo, where does all that stuff go? And she said, I beg your pardon? In the Twilight Zone. That's how I'm going to end all the limericks now. Danny said, well, Among Us is so cute. It's just like too easily accessible. I'm like, this doesn't weed enough people out. Maybe I just don't like the people I'm playing with. I feel like I'm at a 6th grade sleepover. Tabby said that last comment, Buck U. Rogers, was in reference to the Mel Blanc voiced robot on Buck Rogers. Now I remember. Thank you for reminding me. Bill said, dressed as a clown a few years ago, did a special effect where I glued a zipper to my face. And I was half zipped up my face, called him Zippy the Clown. Was fun. I wish it would work. That'd be so much fun if you could just glue a real... mine was called Buttons, and he just had a button here. Another clown was just called Velcro, and he made so much noise when I walked. Art said, Among Us is giggling. Among Us is giggling that tends to end in a mindless rage. I just get bored. Like, when I'm not the fucking guy, I don't give a shit. I put it on my channel last night. The one, played for like 2 hours, and I was only the imposter once, and I just put that part up because I fucking won. That's why sometimes you gotta like hang low for so long, and then other people will be like the imposter 4 times in a row. It's like, the fuck is this shit? I wish there was more fun tasks for you to do, and I wish it's so many times you do the tasks in the game, and then you go like, I gotta fucking wait for everybody else. Like there's a group marketing project, and I'm just loitering the halls. Steven said, best moment in Phasmophobia with Jessamine. The last one we played, which we haven't put up yet, she yells at me, and I call her out for yelling at me, and then she continues to yell at me. And then feels bad, and then immediately apologizes. She's getting better. We're seeing a gamer therapist. Positively E said, you and my friend would get alone. Like, we can't be alone if I'm with your friend. Ty said, do an impression of Jessamine doing Sam. You singing lines from musicals and having her guess which one was fantastic. Oh, yes, I remember that. I got this gun. I got a new gun. Skill point. Very excited like that. And I assume she's going like this. The other thing, the cool part is when we send each other our videos and then we crop each other in so we can put our videos together. I never see her face when I'm actually playing the game, only afterwards. So I'm making faces and rolling her fucking eyes when I think she's sincere. Dave said, does anyone remember the show Not Necessarily the News? Yes, I do. It was I think it was essentially an influential show. I don't think it was very good. Kevin said, gotta say, you play Among Us so well because you never talk. Exactly. That's how good talking is for you. Just if you shut up, you do shit. Oh, did I miss everyone? Hold on, where did I go? What is this? Did I miss so much shit? I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go as fast as I can. Dear Lord. Bill Splat-a-lot. What is going on? Oh, yeah, here we go. Hey, Bill said, if you could pick a TV show to turn into a musical, which show would make a good transition? I think The Munsters would make a good show because The Addams Family was a good show. I think that makes sense. That lines up. I'd maybe Cheers the musical. No, that'd be shit. I think most of them would be shit. I think most of them would have been musicals if they should have been musicals. Ty said, you like Cats as animals a lot more than as a musical, but I like just the songs a lot. Kev said, I say you're the best imposter. Thank you. Art said, Orson Welles is perfect for Unicorn. I agree. He's also perfect as the voice of the Brain from Pinky and the Brain, even though it's not actually him. A said, did you catch the Among Us Twitch stream last night? The one with AOC? I did not. I saw clips. Hello, E. There's a bunch of David Arquette emojis. Positively E said Rim Job City. We've already established it. Certainly I have. AJ said Rod Serling is an alumnus of my college. Fun fact. Was there any cool shit hanging out there? Did he give him a jacket or one of his old cigarettes or something? Yolanda said, RJ, you can't go out like that. Go out like me, getting choked to death, dripping in couture at the Met Gala. That's something you put on your tombstone. That's something you print the obituary. This is what I want. Val can't get into Among Us either. Bill said Twiggy was the name of the robot on Buck Garage. He's also a fine singer. Dave said, why did they ever make episodes where Wile E. Coyote actually talked? Whose dumb idea was that? Probably a fucking focus group. Some idiot. You never hear this guy talk. I'd like to hear him talk. And then the network's like, they want to hear this guy talk. Yolanda said, Nails, I'm just putting into the universe that I don't go out in some boring way. I hedge your backs, Yolanda. I don't think you will. Neil said, I still know nothing about games and watch people play if they are entertaining talkers. I think a lot more people are like that. I think the game watchers are now bigger than just the game players. Because it is sometimes, a fucking pain in the ass to play these games. Nail said, man, we are going to see Yolanda. I missed it. I still know nothing about... Oh, man, we're going to see Yolanda trending for her epic exit from the world one day. She's also a delightful gear maker. And it's nice to know that there's such a depraved soul behind it. Positively, E said, Jess loves your impressions of her. I've gathered. I fucking guess. Peter said, just tuned in. No, we have not. Yes, we have. Dave said, you should try to find the game Phantasmagoria. That's what I always think Phasmophobia is called. Classic 90s full motion video game. Which reminds me, another game I should have fucking played. I'll play it at some point. It's just, my list is too long and I gotta get through it. Is Splatterhouse. There was 3 of them. I think they're for Sega. They were great. A parody of the Halloween films, the Friday the 13th films. Steven said that episode is out. The Duke Ghost reference was good. Thank you. Did I miss this again? Where are we going? Steven said there was a game called The Ship that was similar to Among Us. Among Us is like 2 years old already. But it came out way before Among Us. Can't help but feel they took inspiration from it. I'm sure they did. They took also inspiration from a lot of, board games. It's a very board game. Patrick said, I'm terrified of clowns, not even just Pennywise or killer clowns, even basic clowns, not a fan. David is a professionally trained clown, and his name is Butter the Clown because he's so smooth and phlegmy. Carl said, thank you for reminding me about not necessarily the news. It was an HBO late night sneak. Yeah, I remember that. Neil said, you're going to start missing things the more people watch you. Get used to it, Mr. Popular. It's also like the scroll is choppy. When I miss a bunch, it'll go down in chunks, and then I have to go back. I'm going to get through it. I'm going to stay the course. Bill said, no one wants to hear Kirstie Alley singing to Norm. Actually, I kind of do. Dave said, one musical show that should have never been made is Cop Rock. But I think if they remade it now knowingly, they would have done a nice job. Positively E said, RG, did you like the Macho Man Randy Savage rap album? Yeah, and the pantheon of novelty rap albums. I'll put it next to Rap and Rodney. I think Billy Crystal did one too. So did Mel Brooks. Dave said, the B. Arthur emoji is more pale than me. That B. Arthur is actually Knee Arthur, Dave. That's the one that appears on my knee pad. It's a tribute to my knee, and it's a tribute to her. And I suggest you recant that. Carla said, positively, if you love Randy Savage's rap, please check out DJ Cumberbund. Are we talking about Benedict? Positively E said, I gotta get scrolling here. Oh dear Lord, I lost. I'm gonna go back. Lucas said, isn't everyone in this chat at least a little depraved? Just a little. Yolanda said, why thank you, RJ. Peter said the ship is great. Jordan said Phantasmagoria is also the name of a damned record, which is where Johnny Depp's hair in Sweeney Todd comes from. I did not know that. Lucas said, the George Costanza in me says, every clown needs to know Bozo's full life story. I mean, you should. Bozo is the Hulk Hogan of clowns. You know what I mean? Stacey Lynn said, original Halloween movies or Rob Zombie version? I'm honestly indifferent. I don't think I've seen either of them in full, which I know is horrible to some people, but I keep watching Dr. Phibes. Dave said, I'm getting tired of some new Twitch game happening every week. Overwatch, Fortnite, Fall Guys, Among Us. Let's just go back to Pac-Man. I was just talking about this with Duke, that everyone was on Fall Guys, and then immediately they were just like, Among Us. This is what we're doing. I'm like, what about Fall? They're like, nobody does it anymore. I'm like, but you were the guys who were how did you all decide? I really think the marketing companies are like, you know what? Let's stop this. Let's put these people out of business. Nail said David has some weird qualifications. He also has there's a lot more that he's unqualified for. Positively E said, have you met Mel Brooks yet or his son Max? We go to the same farmer's market, but I think at different times. Every time I get there, like, oh, he was just here. He was as we told him you were coming. He had to go. A said, did you see the Mel Brooks video from his son Max? Yeah, I just hoped it would have been funnier. Could have wrote some jokes. Kevin said, greatest American hero TV show, yay or nay? Show, nay. Theme song, fucking yay. Fucking amazing theme song. Who's the Abe Vigoda of wrestling, said Stoner Dale. Maybe Terry Funk? Neil said, I thought the original It was scarier until I watched the remake. Threw my phone across the room and almost cried when Rob did an impression of new Pennywise. Yeah, but the old one had John Ritter, so. SM said, speaking of clowns, my mom said I used to collect clown things until I watched It. I got rid of everything after that. Fuck It and Tim Curry and Stephen King for really besmirching what people did enjoy. There's one about like an evil car or something. I'm surprised, like Cujo, the movie Cujo, everyone still likes dogs. How did dogs manage to stave that off is what I want to know. RJ Ramos said too many fad games, and I completely agree with you. That's why I like Serious Sam, because no one else likes it. Danny feels attacked right now. I don't know why. Bill said, another Halloween question. Are there any horror anthology movies like Tales from the Crypt or Creepshow you like? I like Creepshow, but only when it's on TV. Because you can pop in and out. You're like, oh, this one's not long. It's only a couple, 5 more minutes, then I can just leave. I loved the new Creepshow on Shudder with our dear friend David Arquette. One of the few acting roles where I texted him. I was like, good job, David. Positively said, thoughts of Yuri on Ice. I remember, I like him. I liked Yanni on Ice was good too. Dave said, so I was looking at David's IMDb page. Dude did a lot of TV movies. Is that the kind of thing you do just for the money and to pad the resume a little? I mean, at a certain point, you would have to think. After Scream, perhaps. There's no need to pad the resume. He did. It's one of those things that's maybe it's like, it's definitely something on your way up where people are not necessarily going to book you for movies, but this is a step up from like little bit part stuff because they are movies. They're just on a little smaller scale. So I think he did a lot on his way up. I mean, he did some music videos and weird shit like that too. And he did do some good movies like John's was a good movie. There's some like serious young actory stuff going on. And then he did some big ones. And then I think they are like, people will call you and I think they're shorter and easier to film. I think they sometimes doing a big movie is a fucking risk. Look at Ready to Rumble. So sometimes I think a smaller movie is a little lower risk. It's a little simpler and easier to do. And you're like, okay, perfect. And I think it works out. And certainly a lot of people have very, very good careers getting that done, which is adorable. So I would do it. I've done worse. Nail said, Meanie, I would watch a stream of you and RJ playing Tetris. I get the ColecoVision, Meanie. Ace said, how do I join? At the bottom of this video here of the frame, there should be a button that literally says join. And there's 3 levels. Pick what works best for you. I mean, how do you, or unless you're asking how you join society, that I can't help you with. Bill said, Nails, if you have John Boy and Jack Tripper running from a clown, it was more scarier. That's shit. The chat jumped again. I'm going back. There we go. Oh, I've lost it again. There we go. Chris said, it's odd Liberace was part of the Hollywood murder case. What? It's not that odd. It's a nefarious fellow. Dave said, with the invention of self-driving cars, the movie Christine isn't far off from happening. Think about it. Carla said, Cujo did make me scared of dogs. This City After Dark is finding all sorts of odd bits from my brain today. That's really, I enjoy bringing things out of you. Nell said, who is the sexiest, scariest clown? It's a great question. I think Jerry Lewis, he did a clown movie. Not The Day the Clown Cried, another one. And he was really mean. He was a dick. He was a clown and he was a dick. And he just wanted the money and he wanted to get out of there. I liked him in that one. I can't remember the name of it. But it's not the Day the Clown Cried, I assure you. SM said, I was scared of dogs too, but that had nothing to do with Stephen King. I'm a dog person now, and I commend you for turning the corner. Nail said, I'm scared of water and fish. Anything watery and fish. I mean, I don't think you're scared of water. I mean, you drink water, you drink liquid. I think, are you scared of oceans and lakes and pools where you can't see things? Because then you're really just scared of the unknown. And the fish are really, there's so many unknown fish. I love every year they post, here's a bunch of weird fish we found that we didn't fucking know were things. We got to add them to the list of things that exist. We went deeper this year, and it was a bunch of shit that blew our minds. Sorry again, everyone. There's more things to add to the list. SM said, we did that already. Steven said, 8 people need to pay the tax. 48 likes, 60 people watching. What a damn shame. Thank you, Steven. So Fly said, did you like the Evil Dead series? Are you a fan of Bruce Campbell? Yeah. Not that they're bad. I'm just not. I'm like, okay, it's fine. I always feel like some things are so hard to turn into a full comedy. Because I'm like, Night of the Living Dead and stuff. That's sometimes I laugh at those instead of the comedy ones because they're just, whatever. I went to Ash versus Evil Dead, haunted house at Universal Halloween Horror Nights, where the hell it was. And that was like a fun one. I liked it. Oh, Jesus, I lost my place again. Stay here, everybody. I'm coming back. We're getting there. Oh, Lord. Ready to Rumble is awesome. People like Ready to Rumble. I don't give a shit. Dave said, what is the bottom of the barrel work for an actor? A Chantix commercial. Nell said, the join button is not on the app. You have to be on a browser. I think that's why David isn't a member yet. He'll never be a member. He doesn't understand it. So yes, you have to be in a browser to see the join button, unfortunately. Or I think maybe perhaps on a tablet, which is also a browser. Okay, I get your point. Carlos said, Ready to Rumble is an unflinching look at the world of professional wrestling. Yeah, nobody flinched, certainly when they wrote it and greenlit it. Essen said, I wish diarrhea on whoever always dislikes your videos. I can live with it. It's part and parcel. Blumini said, speaking of haunted electronics, we just watched Maximum Overdrive, which sounds like a cool name for an indie show, too. Something to keep in your back pocket. Green Tea said, hey, Dave said, I just want to be cast as that audience member of an infomercial or an over enthusiast. And you gotta not. It is hard to cook in the mornings. And then it's not $80. It's not $70. It's not $60. And you're like, $45. Tabby said, I'm sick. Don't expect much from my bon mots tonight. I don't expect anything from anyone. You should always enter every situation with zero expectations. Bill said, love the horror anthology Cat's Eye. Stephen King movie where the cat fought that little troll to protect Drew Barrymore. Oh, I remember. Cool effects. I love the good old-fashioned practical effects. And I saw the trailer for the new Witches movie with Anne Hathaway. And I'm like, it's fucking brutal. Everybody's always going to have like a big mouth now and they CGI horror weird shit. They either have a fucking dropped-ass jaw, their jaw like unhinges, or they this big-ass smile. I'm like, fuck this shit. It's like, what do they keep hiring the same guy? Neil said, in pools where you can see things. Yes, and keep your goldfish the fuck away, too. Those little weirdos. Adam Russo said, I always want to be a person who is excitedly eating salad. That's what I've tried to be. Oh, MPMG. Tabby wants a limerick, too. Okay. There was a young girl in Berlin who eked out a living through sin. She didn't mind fucking, but much preferred sucking, and she'd wipe off the pricks on her chin. Not that clever, really to the point, but nevertheless a good rhyme. Neil said, someone write a letter to you YouTube bigwigs. Well, whatever. We're getting there. Neil said, RJ, you would make a good person who can't open a milk carton on the infomercial. All over the place. And for some reason, they're all in black and white. And then a big red X comes. Bill said, funniest infomercial for me will always be Suzanne Summers' Thigh Master or the one where they shake the dumbbell. Have you ever had anyone get you to sponsor a product? Well, I mean, just like people sending underwear and stuff like that. Well, I mean, I guess all those sketches I did for Value Village were their branded content because they had their name on them and whatever. Certainly the first one was. The other ones, I'm like, just put your logo on and like leave me the fuck alone. And they were cool with that, which was great. Tabby said, I want to be the woman in the infomercials who struggles to handle basic everyday tasks. Oh, I've tied myself up in this cling wrap. Nell said, what would be his Manscaped code be? I'm sponsored by Manbush, the pubic hair grower. It's like a fertilizer. Lucas suggests the infomercial subreddit, which is true. They're totally great. I do enjoy them. Chris said, Liberace rings at a party versus John Holmes. Who wins? Always got to go with the lead. Okay, let's read one more. There was a young bride, a Canuck, who told her husband, let's do more than suck. You say that I maybe can have my first baby. Let's give up this Frenching and fuck. So to recap, there was a lot going on. We talked a lot about fears and certainly Limericks and the Twilight Zone, which is fantastic. And I also want to say to my Key to the City members, type your question in the community tab, right? You'll find it. It's an Ask RJ thing. And enjoy it all. Go listen to my Blue Meanie thing. You have Key to City members. You have till the end of the week to ask your question, and then I will answer it. Neil said we got some new members all around. Noah said the stream earned my tax payment. Good stuff, RJ. Thank you so much. And I encourage you to join us next week on City After Dark, because that episode will be my last. Good night.